they cannot afford. That is not you. When you decide to go on a debt-free journey, you cross normal out of your life and you go into your own zone. You're doing this for yourself, you're doing this for your family, you're doing this for your future. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be talking about cash envelope versus your electronic transaction. So without further ado, let's get started. So after you create your budget, then you divide your budget into two different categories. One will be your cash category, and then the other one will be your electronic category. Your electronic category includes things like your rent, utilities. Those things stay electronically because that's how they are meant to be paid. Your cash category will be stuff like your gas, groceries, fund money. If you have a child, childcare, car maintenance, medical bill, the list is endless. So that category goes into your cash category. And the reason why I divide them into two is because your cash category means that you are going to create cash envelope for that category. So, and in this video, I'll show you the different cash envelopes that I have. Let's talk about my cash envelope. As you can see, the first envelope is clothes, and behind every envelope I do write down when I spend the money from there so that I can track down the money that I have used and what I have left. Childcare, I also put back the change where I took the money from so that it doesn't mess up my budget. Miscellaneous usually is something that doesn't happen every month but might appear in a specific month, so I do have money for that just in case. Extra envelope in case I need to build a new cash envelope, or even in case I need to replace something. Fun money, it can be anything. It can be when we decide to go out to the movies, go out to and have some dinner, so buy something fun. Car maintenance, really I don't do maintenance every month, but I do have that as part of my sinking fund so that when I have to do something major down a few months down the road, I do have money for that instead of pulling out of my emergency fund. So that's why I have that there, and that's with most envelope. Really any money that's left over is part of my sinking fund. Toiletries, gas money, so I never spend any money that I have left over. I don't overspend it. Groceries, change, so I just stack it up, and when something major happens, tithe, I do spend that money instead. If you do monthly budget, so that means when you go to the bank to get the cash, you'll be getting cash bi-weekly. So it depends on how often you get paid. Some locations you get paid monthly, some you get bi-weekly, some weekly. So you just divide your cash envelope depending on how often you get paid. But of course you always create monthly budgets. Let's talk about the advantages of using cash envelope. Using cash envelope, it helps you plan for each spending. This will help you know how much you need to take before heading out. So every time you are leaving the house to go do something, you plan ahead of time and you know, okay, I need to stop at the store and buy some groceries. So that means you go ahead and take the envelope for groceries. And if you're going somewhere and you know you forgot the envelope for a specific item, then that means you do not purchase that item. You have to either go back home, get the envelope, and go back to the store. So the whole reason of cash envelope is so that you don't do unnecessary shopping, and you stick to your cash envelope. If you don't have the envelope for a specific category, then don't buy it. Wait until you have that envelope available and then go ahead and purchase whatever you need. And then with the cash envelope, it will help you from overspending. The reason being, if you take $50 or $100 to go to the store to purchase a specific item, and you get there and you find out that, oh my God, there's something else that you might have needed, but you don't have the money for that, then that means you're not going to spend that extra money. Another thing is, if you allocated $300 for groceries on the envelope, cash envelope, and you spend the 300, then you know, okay, I'm done for this specific time period until next time. So at the same time, it will slow you down from overspending. Or if you allocated a specific amount for something and you realize you always run out of that money, then you know that you need to start allocating more money for that specific category. So if you have money left over from a specific category and that time period is over, then don't just go out there and have a shopping spree. No, save that specific amount of money and put it in a what I call sinking fund. So for example, if you put $50 for car maintenance and then you don't spend the $50, then you put it in a sinking fund so that it comes to a point of time when you need more money for car maintenance, then at least you have sinking funds that you can pull out of instead of pulling it out of your emergency fund. So it kind of helps. Same with other categories, gas. This usually happens mostly, let's say, for money that I put aside for spending on my baby and I end up not spending all of it. So it goes into a sinking fund, and I know that next month if he needs something extra or if something is overpriced, at least I have some sinking fund money that can go into that specific category. It's like if you go shopping and you have change, even if it's $1, even if it's 25 cents, make sure you put it back into that envelope so that you know, because if you don't put it back there, then you put it somewhere else, it will kind of throw out your budget and maybe you'll be shortchanged in a specific category. So always put the money, any change, put it back into the designated envelope so that every time you know how much exactly that you have left and how much exactly that you spend on that specific trip. So when I say pre-planning when you go shopping, it's always good to write it down. Honestly, write it down. Mentally, you might tell yourself, I'm going to get this and this and this. But speaking just from my own personal experience, I know I always go and end up with something extra. And another thing, if you want, you can go even, like for example, now there's options that you can add stuff to your cart and see exactly how much you'll be spending at the store instead of going to the store and getting to the cashier and you end up being that you took something extra than the amount of money you carried. Another option, it depends on like which state you live, but I know there's a place I lived in Florida whereby they built a new retail store, and when you walk in they give you your scanner, so when you're going through the aisle you're scanning your groceries, and then you already know the total, and you know when you're about to go over your total, then you just start putting stuff back. And let me tell you, if you go to the cashier and you have more things than the money that you have, don't feel embarrassed to say, okay, pull this out. Do not pull your credit card or your debit card out and say, oh, I'll cover the extra on my card. Never ever do that, because that means you're not disciplined with your budget, you're not disciplined with your cash envelope, and you're spending money on the side that you shouldn't be spending. The whole point of debt-free journey is you to cut down your debt, not to try and accumulate more new debt on the side. So don't ever feel embarrassed counting your coins. Don't ever feel embarrassed putting stuff back because you miscalculated something. So it's one of those things you just have to be okay with it. You're different. You're not the same. Normal is not good. Different is good. Normal people are people that overspend or buy things that they cannot afford. That is not you. When you decide to go on a debt-free journey, you cross normal out of your life and you go into your own zone. You're doing this for yourself. You're doing this for your family. You're doing this for your future. So don't worry about what other people think. As long as you're doing what's right, do not worry about other people. I know usually people, whenever you're in line and you're counting your cash, people always like kind of eyeball you. You know what? that should not bother you. Just do your thing because you're doing the right thing. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.